What time is it?
Jeep time! Alright.
Get out of my way.
It's ARB time. Alright, so Harley's got his compressor. We decided to go with the single high output compressor as compared to the twin.
Yeah.
Alright, so why did we decide to go with the twin, or the single as opposed to the twin?
The twin we thought was going to be too large, right?
Okay, too large.
But after having it in person, I didn't notice they were this small.
Maybe not. We may have been able to do the twin. I'm not sure where we would have put it.
Yeah.
But this is
people-
one thing that I found with all the reviews that we did. There was quite a few people that had issues with the twin.
Right.
So other YouTubers that had warranty repairs on them and what have you. And I didn't see hardly any with the single high output.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I saw one. Now, so take it for what it's worth. We're not running the twin down. We have no experience. This is actually our first experience with ARB, period. But we're going to show you how we are installing this and what we got going on here. So the TJ has this opening back here. At least the American models do. And whether it has metal cloak or not, because that pan right there is, in fact, the original TJ pan. So this guy, we already, let me grab that. Never mind our garage. This happens every time we do a project. It gets worse and worse and worse. We already held the compressor in there. And this is approximately where we thought it went. So we used this as a template, marked our holes off, pulled that tray back out, drilled it. And the only thing he has to do yet before we put the pump in there is this hole right here ended up going through, oh come on, get out of the way. Ended up going through the bottom bracket. So we have to open that hole up a little bit larger. While he's drilling that, I'm going to go over this pump with you. All right, let's talk about this compressor. So this is a single high output. It's a CKMA12 by ARB. What did it come with? It came with the compressor. It came with this air filter, switch for engaging the compressor, harness, this frightful harness. Actually, I got to talk about this harness in here in a bit. And of course, a box. All right, so hardware and a relay. Relay, plug and play. This what I already tell you. I read the instructions. I know it's going to seem odd if you're a man. It's gonna seem odd, and it felt really weird for me. But I went ahead and read the instructions. It was the first for me. And I can tell you, I think this thing's going to go in really easy. This harness is all labeled. I think this thing is going to be as simple as plug and play, as I should say. All right, so switch, that's a no-brainer. Air filter spins on the end, right there. Haven't done that. Probably won't do that till it gets closer to going into the Jeep. Relay plugs right into the harness. I've already seen where it goes. Mounting hardware. What comes on here? Because you've probably already seen some solenoids and other things that I've already installed. Well, the reason why I did that prior to videoing this, we weren't going to. We went online and watched some videos. There are some videos, and then there aren't. You think there's any decent videos installing this on TJ's?
Well, the majority of, it's kind of bland.
Yeah, so there's one guy over in Australia. Is he Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like he had a pretty decent video, but he's in the bush. But that's for left-hand drives. And since we drive on the right side of the road, the correct side, I wanted to show you how it's done right. So here's the compressor. You got two Allen bolts. When you loosen it, allows you to move it back and forth what appears to be basically an inch. So you can shift this around. Why that's such a big deal, let's say you drill this in the wrong location and you're like, oh man, I wish I had only went a half inch over. Well, you're kind of saved with that. You can almost 180 degrees rotate this thing. It's not 180, but it's pretty close by loosening those and then retightening them. Then we want to talk about this right here, the manifold. If you loosen this 10 millimeter see, I tell you, I can't even get through the video speaking. I can't even say the word metric. Well, I just said it, but 10 millimeter fraction. I'm a contractor. I don't do metric. I'm fractional through and through. Here we go. I digress. 10 millimeter. If we loosen that, it gives us freedom to spin this manifold. And this is, I'm really liking how universal this compressor is as far as being able to fit different applications. With that being loosened, since I've already installed these solenoids, and I got my chuck on there for the tire inflator, it allows us to spin this independent. So let's say I need the solenoids down there, but we're going to be needing access to that chuck quite often. You know, I can have it pointing up or whatever, and then tighten it down after you do it. We will be doing one thing that I've already noticed right off, is we're going to have to come up with something to cover this chuck, so that way debris, dust, dirt, what have you, is not getting in there. But this thing looks pretty slick. I'm excited. I think we're going to have it in there pretty quick. Alright, so I've already Teflon taped everything, and we are ready to install this thing.
Alright,
What's the problem?
I got it.
Yesterday you said you couldn't do this. Just do it. Just do it.
I don't got it.
Alright, so I knew it was going to be easy, but not this easy. Okay, so let me show you this harness. We have a relay right there. Then we'll say the main portion of the harness. Right after the relay, here's all of our plugins. Now the plugins, this all goes to the pump. So this right here would go into, let me see. This goes into one of the solenoids for the locker. This goes into the other solenoid for the locker. This is the power for the pump, and this is the pressure switch. Going over, we have a enclosed 40 amp, I believe that's 40 amp fuse, harness, then we come to the very end, and this is our actually our power supply. Hot, neutral, and then I'm not sure what this small wire is. I'll figure that out. Let's go back to the relay. Come back to the relay, and then there's another small portion of the harness, and this is what goes inside the vehicle. Now this is cool. There's nothing here except at the very end they keep the plug-in off, so that way you can fish it through a small portion of the cowl. Let me go grab the other portion of the harness. Alright, so here's the other portion of the harness right here. This plugs into that portion that I just showed you that was undone, and then these all go into the back of your switches. Now I will say the only thing is this may affect us a little bit because he's not sure where he's putting the switches, but all I will say, this harness is stupid simple. It's even simpler than what I thought it was. So do not, when you see that package of that harness, do not get intimidated because this thing is ready. Literally, it's almost plug and play. So TJ's, there's really not that many spots to mount the switches. I saw one guy over in Australia mount them between the visors. Turned out excellent looking. We didn't think that would be a good spot for us though. We kept going back to it, but we decided not to. We saw on Metal Cloak's site, they weren't advising this, so we just saw this in one of their photos. They mounted the switches, these switches right here. They mounted those switches below the steering wheel. The 2 locker switches on the one side and the compressor on the other side. So it's literally on the lower part of the dash. ARB sells a bracket to mount all 3 switches down by, I believe, your ODB port. That's an absolute no-go for us. I'm not, unless we're not understanding where it goes. Or then we've seen other people put a pod up above the radio and the tray. That's a good spot, but since we utilize her so much, I didn't want to take that area up. So we tried and tried here. First attempt is we tried to use the existing opening. I put these 2 fillers in and completely jacked it up. No, it actually was going to work. I just wasn't happy with the turnout. Went down to my sister's place and picked up, now mind you, this thing is ground right now, but I went down there and picked up a piece of aluminum stock. Now, she tells me you can buy this like at Lowe's or Home Depot, but she says it's going to be a little bit thinner. But you know what? I'm gonna mic this thing right now because this appears as though this is going to work pretty good. That thing locked down. Sure was. What's that measure? I can't read it. 64 thousandths. Alright. So I'm not going to fully push it in there because Harley's got to spray this right here. Make that black. But let me show you how they're going to go. So this is actually going to screw in. It's going to screw in like so. And we're going to put 4 screws. I do have to knock this out right here. The grinder got away from me right there. Harley's just finding that out. We'll have to touch that up. But other than that, this is actually going to, I believe, is going to turn out looking pretty good. Okay, so got all the lights on. Get out of there. All right, so we got the plate in. We actually went up and picked up this from O'Reilly's. It came in a pack. It came in this pack. Come on, right here, and
Came with all these.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A whole bunch of different pictures.
We can put on anything, but I did want. Where's the other switch? Is this it?
Red.
Yeah. This is the one that's shown in the front of the package. We actually thought it was going to be red. When we opened it, it came with this blue one. So these actually all match. Yeah. Hopefully you can see this good. So this is what we got here. We bored that out. And you're gonna throw. Are you gonna? You're just gonna spray that, or what? Either way, so that's how it sets in there. Finally.
Looks professional.
Actually, I kept telling him. I was like, it's gonna turn out nice. He's like, no. He's like, you're rigging it. I was like, no. I was like, he's like, well, so and so on such and such channel did it this way. He lied.
No, I didn't.
We TJ did it right. I'm not saying it's right. We were not happy with anything else. Okay, so let me see. We got the compressor hooked up. He's got the batteries hooked in. Let's try this out. Oh, actually, we got to turn the compressor on first. Ah. See, that's what I'm talking right there. You can engage the front one first. Oh, that's almost a song right there. Okay. Guys are gonna be thinking, oh, these guys are weird. Hey, I think we got it right. You want to put the screws in?
Yep.
Hold on here. right there. We may have some wires we gotta push down. Oh, you know what? These may be interfering.
Oh no.
Yeah, no. If any of you guys are familiar with this Dremel cordless, I'm not much of a Dremel person, but this thing is sick. Oh yeah, perfect. Well, it's upside down. Now it's perfect. Yo, can we see your compressor?
Sure. You want to see air?
We want to see it now. Hey, what's this thing?
URA 2021 OHB Trail Pass.
Nice. And, oh, I guess that explains the dirt. So what do we got going on down here?
Zip tie and Ziploc bag.
Okay. So you put the Ziploc and you put this bag on there.
Yep.
To keep the dust out of the chucks. Good idea.
And then this holds it on pressure tight, almost like a hose clamp.
Nice.
And it's fast, easy, quick, cheap.
So there's the harness, your solenoids. These go to each locker. It's quick. You just push them in. You can pop those lines off if you were to have to take the pump back out. Here's our harness. We went ahead and threw it in a loom. Here's your 40 amp fuse. Runs over the battery. We just went into that grommet, the body grommet down there for the main harness. We just punched a small hole underneath there. It won't leak. And this thing's tight. I mean, it fits in there. Fits in there really good underneath that booster. Now I'm not lying. This is not an easy install down there underneath the booster.
All right.
But now that it's in there, we're happy it's in there.
Just don't have big hands.
Just don't have big hands. We may have to find another location. All right, you know, I just got thinking. I was like, we have not showed the final switch plate. There it is. Looks pretty excellent. Pretty happy with it. Super clean looking. It's got a CB down there. You know what? Get this thing turned around. We're going to do another video showing actually how long it takes to air these tires up with this compressor. And so look forward to that in another video. So far we're pretty impressed with it. It's working pretty good. So I think that's a wrap for this video. We out.